We saw him at Wembley go off, didn't we, in the second half, and he looked in some discomfort when he went down, came off the pitch and was kind of hobbling off, did walk off of his own volition, but he looked in a little bit of pain, and certainly the players that are out there have come out. They've been out now for like 5 or 6 minutes. No sign of Kyle Walker as part of the group right now. So it'd be interesting to see from Pep Guardiola whether he's just getting some treatment, whether it's a precaution, or how serious any potential problem is. And it also means that perhaps, given that Walker started in the FA Cup final, given he's had that fantastic run of form playing almost in that back three for Pep Guardiola in the last few weeks when City have been at their relentless best, it certainly just adds a little bit of uncertainty ahead of the game. His pace invaluable as part of that defence, the recovery runs. Remember how he had that battle with Vinicius Junior in both legs of the Champions League semi-final against Real Madrid. He would be a real blow if there's any doubt over his fitness ahead of what is Manchester City's biggest week in their history, not only chasing a first Champions League trophy but also the elusive treble. Manchester United, the only team to have done it, 1999. All the talk over the weekend was about whether United could stop City emulating that feat. They weren't able to do it themselves at Wembley, and you do wonder whether there might be a few Inter Milan shirts bought by Reds fans in this city. But the City players, after that FA Cup final win, were full of determination about what they can achieve this season. They know they have the opportunity to make history, and they are a squad that's full of confidence. They've gone into big games, they've won big games, but the one game they haven't won as a group or even as a club is the Champions League final. So lots of confidence, but obviously there will be just that slight realisation as well of the magnitude of this occasion. This week will be crucial for them. Remember, they've got training sessions today, which we're going to see. We get the full hour because it's the Champions League final. We get to watch the whole of the session here today. Then they've got 2 more days to get ready before that final on Saturday night. So just taking a pause there from the rondos as we warm up. I wonder if we can find Erling Haaland. Yes, he's just over there on the left at the back of the group, on the left of the 2 groups training at the moment. Obviously, what a season Erling Haaland has had. I mean, he's just been a remarkable signing. I remember being stood here at the City Football Academy nigh on a year ago when the signing was announced, and there was so much excitement at the time, not only that they managed to bring him here. Obviously they had a lot of rivals they had to fight off to get his signature, but the way he settled so quickly, scoring on his Premier League debut, and his remarkable record too in this competition that has been extended. I mean, before he'd come, he averaged more than a goal a game for his previous clubs, Red Bull Salzburg and Borussia Dortmund, and he's continued that this season in this competition as well. Averages a goal every 63 minutes across his entire career in the Champions League. In the middle of something of a goal drought, didn't find the net at Wembley. That's just 1 goal in 7 in all competitions for him. But over the course of the season, those 52 goals in all competitions, he averages a goal every 78 minutes in all competitions. It's a pretty remarkable achievement. His fitness was obviously questioned before he came here. Would he be able to play the number of matches? We saw him miss large parts of seasons previously, particularly last year with Borussia Dortmund. But Manchester City have this medical team around him. He's so vigilant himself in keeping himself fit. His diet is meticulous, his recovery meticulous. He spends hours before and after training making sure that he's ready with masseurs, cryotherapy as well, just to make sure that he gives himself the best possible chance. And actually, in terms of his minutes on the pitch, he's made a remarkable number of appearances, rarely rested by Pep Guardiola, rarely needed to be rested. And whenever he's asked about it in press conferences, Guardiola talks about the fact that Haaland looks after himself. He talks about the fact he has the support of the City medical team behind him, but also the fact that he is just 22 years old. He's young, he's fit, he is still growing into his size and stature, but they do everything they can because they know what sort of a formidable weapon he can be, particularly in the big games. So the Manchester City players here, you can see just going through a bit of a warm-up now. If you imagine we'll see the rondos for another 5 or 10 minutes or so. What will be interesting is that's normally around Champions League games where we have to turn the cameras off and we get told we have to leave. Today we get that little bit of extra insight, so it'll be interesting to see if they do play some small-sided games and that kind of thing. But obviously this is the start of their week building up to this huge occasion at the weekend. Lying in wait are Inter Milan, a team that few expected to get to the Champions League final, but speaking to Manchester City fans at the weekend ahead of the game against United, a lot of them actually, although they're confident, of course, that City can win the Champions League this year, they're looking at Inter Milan as one of the more difficult opponents purely because of their history. You know they're going to be physical, you know they're going to be potentially defensive-minded, and also the likes of Edin Dzeko in their ranks. There's plenty of former City and even former Manchester United players that can have a say in the outcome of this final. So City go in full of confidence, as I say. Certainly looking at the stats, I think Opta, I looked at some stats ahead of the final today, and Opta have them a 74% chance of lifting the trophy, be it in normal time, extra time, or even after penalties. But as we get closer to that final, it becomes more about the occasion than it does the teams on paper. City played the occasion really well at the weekend against Manchester United. That was a game full of pressure. The fact the players came through will give Pep Guardiola huge confidence, I think, going into that. And I think it's probably fitting that we leave you with Guardiola's words from that press conference after the FA Cup final. He said that they have to win the final, but also this is a position that we will probably never be in again. He's talking there about the chances of this City group not only winning a first Champions League final for the club, but also winning that treble.